from Newsnets and CCTV. It's high school football, coming to you today from Veterans Memorial Stadium. High school sports are brought to you in part by Wolverine Power Cooperative and by Great Lakes Energy. Your local electric cooperative is looking out for you.
Welcome to a cold, wet, and windy night at Veterans Memorial Stadium, where most senior night games have a bittersweet tone to them. But for a 2020 high school football season that was in serious jeopardy back in August, instead, football fans have themselves feeling grateful for reaching this final game of the 2020 season. Thank you for joining us for the Michigan High School Football Game of the Week here on Newsnet Sports. I'm Derek Tate. Tonight features a rematch of Big North Conference foes as the Gaylord Blue Devils take on the Cadillac Vikings. And Gaylord enters this contest at 1-4 on the season, while the Cadillac Vikings enter this final game at 3-2 to bring the close the 2020 season. Back in week 2, it was the Cadillac Vikings who bested Gaylord on the road by a score of 21-7. But here on senior night, we see the Cadillac Vikings team introducing their seniors. As we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here on Newsnet Sports, we'll have your Michigan High School Football Game of the Week on the other side. Stay tuned.
High school sports are brought to you in part by Wolverine Power Cooperative and by Great Lakes Energy. Your local electric cooperative is looking out for you.
Tonight's national. Beautiful rendition of the national anthem by the Cadillac Marching Band as we are mere moments away from kickoff here at Veterans Memorial Stadium on a cold, wet, and windy night in Cadillac, Michigan. And we've got ourselves a rematch in the Big North Conference as the Gaylord Blue Devils take on the Cadillac Vikings. I'm Derek Tate, and thank you for joining us here for the Michigan High School Football Game of the Week. And as we mentioned before, this is a rematch between these two squads. Cadillac defeated Gaylord 21-7 back on September 25th, which saw the Cadillac Vikings run wild on this Gaylord Blue Devil defense to the tune of 325 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. It was a story on the other end for the Gaylord offense of missed opportunities. Multiple drives for the Blue Devils stalled inside the red zone, namely one that was inside the 10-yard line. They only put up 7 points against what has been a stout unit defensively for the Cadillac Vikings. But tonight, Cadillac is going to still have to try to find an answer for senior quarterback for the Blue Devils, Corey Deere. And in the one win they've had all season, that was back on week 3 against Alpena by a tune of 30-27. Corey Deere went off 213 yards through the air, 3 touchdown passes, adding 52 on the ground, and a 26-yard touchdown reception. But it'll be the Cadillac Vikings who start with the football here at senior night at Veterans Memorial Stadium. And we are underway for the final regular season game of the 2020 season. We got Carter Harsh, and he's going to navigate his way down to the 38-yard line, and that is where Aiden Gurdon, the junior quarterback for the Cadillac Vikings, spearheading that option attack, will take over for their first possession of the game. And when we look back to week 2 to try to get some sort of an idea of exactly what took place and how we arrived at a 21-7 victory for the Cadillac Vikings. It was Noah Cochran leading the way on the ground with 60 yards rushing. Gurdon added 77, but it was Cochran who scored 2 rushing touchdowns and 1 added from Colin Johnston. 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. Harsh in motion, option right. It's Aiden Gurdon who gets the first carry of the game, and it's a good one. Brought down just shy of midfield. Gain of 11. That's a first down for Cadillac. On the stop, looks like Joseph Boswood, the senior defensive lineman for Gaylord. We're underway. 1st and 10, just shy of midfield. Gurdon on the season is the leading rusher for the Vikings. 1st and 10 at midfield. Gurdon, option. And he's going to keep it back-to-back times, and this time nothing doing. Blown up in the backfield by Quinn Schultz. The senior outside linebacker sniffed that one out and blew it up for a loss. 1 yard loss will bring up 2nd and 11 for Cadillac. And this Vikings unit, one of the keys to victory, as we're taking a look at this rematch between the Blue Devils and the Cadillac Vikings. Gaylord has to slow down this option and rushing attack. 2nd and 11 at the 49-yard line. Reinhold in motion. Quarterback sweep. Gurdon sidesteps out of one would-be tackler and drags a couple Blue Devils into Gaylord territory, brought down by Jonathan Angst, the junior DB, coming up from his safety spot. And that'll be a gain of 8, brings up 3rd and a long 3 for Cadillac. If they get to the 40-yard line, they do extend the drive. Gurdon had 13 carries on the September 29th win, and that is exactly what Cody Mallory likes to see, the 6th-year head coach for the Cadillac Vikings. That's going to be a free first down using that fake motion to simulate the snap. And it was about 3 or 4, almost the entire defensive line for Gaylord jumped off sides, and that garners a first down to the 38-yard line for Cadillac. Gurdon under center, working out of the wing tee. Harsh in motion. Option right. A lot of running room for Noah Cochran, and the seniors brought down just inside the 25-yard line. 2nd tackle of the game, and possibly a touchdown-saving tackle from Jonathan Angst. 16-yard carry, and that's a good first one to get Noah Cochran going. He did most of his damage in week 2. 2 rushing touchdowns on 13 carries and 60 yards. 1st and 10 for Cadillac. Reinhold in motion, option left, and it's another carry for Cochran. And boy, the Cadillac Vikings running aggressively, but the ball might have popped out. And it is. It's a turnover from the Cadillac offense. Falling on it for Gaylord. That is Braden Gautreau. Number 54, only standing at 5'8", 175 down there on the D-line, but he comes in handy, able to come out of the pile with the football. And the first drive, and this is a bugaboo for this Cadillac offense, they turn it over, and here we get our first look at Corey Deere and the Gaylord offense. 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line, and there is nothing doing. A sea of purple in the backfield. Quinn Schultz dropped for a loss. Big old number 77, the senior, Ryan Warner, leading the charge for Cadillac. This Cadillac defense pursues very well to the football. It's hard to get out on the edges against this squad. Loss of 3 for Quinn Schultz. That'll bring up 2nd and 13 for Gaylord. And if there has been one place where the Vikings have struggled defensively, it's against dual threat quarterbacks. And Corey Deere fits the bill. 2nd and 13. Schultz with his 2nd straight carry, knifing in between the defensive line and brought down by number 11, Andrew Johns, the junior defensive lineman He'll get back the yardage he lost. Gain of 5, and that'll bring up the first third down of the night for the Gaylord Blue Devils. Gaylord 1-4 on the season. Leading the way, head coach Sean Sargent dealing with some injuries. We'll see how the Blue Devils are able to make do. 3rd and 8. Deer out of the shotgun, back to pass. Lets it rip in. That one nearly intercepted. That would have been a house call for Carter Harsh. Couldn't quite haul it in. Adam Dost, the intended target. Incomplete pass will bring up 4th down in the punting unit for Gaylord. So the Blue Devils unable to capitalize on the turnover from the Cadillac offense. We're at the 8:03 mark in the opening quarter. Still tied up at 0-0. I'm Derek Tate here on the Michigan High School Football Game of the Week here on Newsnet Sports. And it's Mr. Do-It-All, Corey Deer, back to punt for Gaylord. Carter Harsh and Keenan Szyminski back to receive the punt. Deer's punt. Not a ton of distance, and that one will be down at their own 41-yard line. So Cadillac's defense stands strong, forces a 3-and-out, and they are rewarded with a possession that starts in Gaylord territory. And we mentioned some of the keys to victory for the Cadillac Vikings. Number 1 is containing quarterback Corey Deer, and they did a good job of it on the first drive that they faced him, forcing a 3-and-out. Second is impose your will offensively. That big offensive line up front. Head coach Cody Mallory says that is one of the strengths, if not the biggest strength of this entire football team. 1st and 10 at the 41. Harsh in motion, quarterback sweep right. Aiden Gurdon slips one tackle, and he's still going. And if that counts, that'll be a first down, gain of 13, but there is a flag back at the 40-yard line. And it is coming back. It's on Cadillac. It's a holding call. I'm talking to head coach Cody Mallory heading into tonight's game. He mentioned that they are a full go, even though that they have already clinched a first-round bye in the playoffs. This team is a full go. There's no resting anybody. They are trying to take tonight's win because it could clinch a couple home games in the postseason here in Michigan high school football. But one thing he wanted to say, they haven't played a clean game yet. And first drive ended in a fumble, turnover. And the second one starts off with a holding call. 1st and 19 for Cadillac. And here's a dangerous pitch. Gurdon tried to pitch it to Carter Harsh, and there, I'm not sure if it was Quinn Schultz. He does come up with it, as it is consecutive lost fumbles to kill drives, and this one a bit more costly because it's actually going to give Gaylord the football in Cadillac territory. Aiden Gurdon with an ill-advised pitch. One of the things you stress when running the triple option is you don't pitch in duress. Gurdon trying to make a play, try to do a little bit too much, and it results in Cadillac, their defense having to stand tall with a 1st and 10 for Gaylord at the 45. Corey Deer to the air. That one caught, and it's ball is on the ground, and it looks like it's going to be an incomplete pass. Ooh, if I'm a Vikings fan, I'm not sure I quite like that call, because it looked like a clear hook and lateral from Adam Dost to Gavin Freeman, and Freeman couldn't quite handle the pitch. I don't know. That's a call that is not going to go the way of the Cadillac Vikings, and head coach Cody Mallory on the sidelines to the bottom of your screen is certainly pleading his case to the officials. Either way, the referee said that Adam Dost did not have full and complete possession. Pass incomplete. Disaster averted for the Blue Devils. 2nd and 10 with Corey Deer in the shotgun. Jet sweep to Gavin Freeman around the right edge. Cuts it back. Nice bit of running from Gavin Freeman before he's dragged down at the 36-yard line. On the stop, Carter Harsh. Gain of 9, and that'll bring up a second consecutive 3rd down that this Gaylord offense is facing. On the first possession, came up empty. Here we have a much more manageable 3rd and 1. They got to get to the 35 to extend the drive. Deere, quarterback keeper, he's got it and a lot more. Sidesteps one would-be tackler and is brought down at the 25-yard line. We don't see Corey Deere under center a whole lot, so that may have tipped the hand, but the quarterback sneak got more than just the first down, a gain of 6. And Gaylord's in business at the 25-yard line. And when you look at the 2 losses on the season for the Cadillac Vikings, you realize that mobile quarterbacks have been the issue. Christian Boyven, 97 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns for their loss against TC West. And TC Central, it was Josh Burnham with 3 scores on the ground. And here's Corey Deere with a quarterback sweep left, and he's got some room to run, cuts it upfield. And he's going to be near another Gaylord first down before he's shoved out of bounds by Carter Harsh. An easy 9-yard gain around the left edge. 2nd and 1 on the horizon for this Blue Devils offense. And we mentioned in their previous 21-7 loss at the hands of the Cadillac Vikings back in week 2. Gaylord had multiple drives stall in the red zone, so this is their first trip. 2nd and 1. Corey Deere working out of the shotgun. Freeman in motion. Give goes to Schultz, who bounces it to the outside. And that'll garner yet another first down, moving the chains. Gaylord in business at the 11-yard line. Both teams, for the final game of the regular season, have 11 seniors on the roster. And it's Corey Deere who is the leader of this group offensively for the Blue Devils. 1st and 10 from the 11. Freeman in motion. Give goes to Freeman on the jet sweep. Freeman knifing inside of a would-be tackler and brought down just inside the 10, which will bring up 2nd and 8. Gain of a pair. Freeman with a couple carries on this drive. And you see offensively what head coach Sean Sargent wants to try to do to threaten the Vikings on the edge. Just under the 5-minute mark. Still knotted up at 0. Gaylord threatening at the 9-yard line. 2nd and 8. Deere rolling right, looking to throw. Deere tucks it down and is pushed out of bounds by Carter Harsh. Good coverage by the Vikings secondary, but Corey Deere salvages the play by tucking it down. Gain of 4. 3rd and 4 for Gaylord. They can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. Right now they're at the 5-yard line. If they get inside the 1, that will give them a 1st and goal to go opportunity. Corey Deere has been able to manage 2 first downs so far on this drive. But they've got another 3rd and 4 right here. Deere is going to go under center. I formation for Gaylord. Hand goes to Schultz. ISO right. Schultz lunges towards the first down marker. But it will appear he is going to be brought down just a bit shy. Dropped by Bryce Benjelink, the senior defensive lineman. He needed 4. He got 3. We've got our first 4th down attempt of the night. And it's a big one from the 3-yard line. Deere under center. Quarterback keeper again for Corey Deere. He's going to be close. And for the 2nd consecutive short yardage situation, Corey Deere has gone under center, and that'll move the chains. Got just enough to go ahead and move the chains. They are still just a bit shy. They're going to have 1st and goal at the 1-yard line as they are looking to strike first with just under 4 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. And looks like Corey Deere is going to stay under center. Schultz, the tailback in the I formation. First and goal. Deere gives to Schultz. Straight ahead. Touchdown, Gaylord. The Blue Devils strike first, as it's the senior, Quinn Schultz, who gives the Blue Devils a 6-0 lead. Gaylord was unable to capitalize on the first turnover forced, but they get field position at the 45-yard line, and they engineer a drive that generates 6. Hayden Collins' kick is up and good, as the Gaylord Blue Devils strike first and take a 7-0 lead with 3:34 remaining in the opening quarter here at Veterans Memorial Stadium for the Michigan High School Football Game of the Week between the Gaylord Blue Devils and the Cadillac Vikings here on Newsnet Sports. I'm Derek Tate. Thank you for joining us. I want to go ahead and give our sponsors a quick shout out. Doug Glass, the Window Shop Center, located in Cadillac, Michigan. Did do a fantastic job. We've also got a couple other sponsors we can go ahead and thank. We'll get those to you just a second. But we've seen that this Gaylord offense can extend drives and put up points. And despite the only putting up 7 back in week 2, they already matched that total in their second possession. As it's Corey Deere that kicks off. Carter Harsh can't field it cleanly, but does gather it at the 20-yard line. Jonathan Angst able to drag him out of bounds just past the 30-yard line. So this will be the third offensive possession for the Cadillac Vikings. The first drive was pushing deep into Gaylord territory when Noah Cochran coughed it up. Then on the second possession, after forcing a 3-and-out against the Blue Devils offense, Aiden Gurdon's pitch for Carter Harsh did not find the intended target. Quinn Schultz forced the turnover, and that led to a 45-yard touchdown drive, which brings us to 7-0 for the Cadillac Vikings. First and 10 at the 31. Option right. And it's Noah Cochran. First down and more into Gaylord territory, and it takes a couple Blue Devils to bring him down. Jonathan Angst and Riley Hush combined to drag him down at the 37-yard line, but there is a flag at the 41-yard line in Gaylord territory. I didn't see any blockers in the nearby area. It could potentially be some sort of face mask. Yes, it is a personal foul on Gaylord. It might be on Angst, the junior safety. And despite the 15-yard penalty, it's better than giving up a 69-yard touchdown run. But for the second time in the game, the Cadillac Vikings are inside the 25-yard line of Gaylord, and they're looking to tie this one up. 3:15 remaining in the first quarter. First and 10, Gurdon under center. Gurdon, option right. Second straight carry for Noah Cochran. This one garners a couple before he's brought down by Braden Gautreaux. Gautreaux's been busy. He did recover a fumble to end the first drive of the Vikings. 2nd and 8 for Cadillac. Carter Harsh takes a seat. Dan Gray, the senior, has replaced him as one of the wing T-backs. Gray in motion. Give goes to Cochran straight ahead. Cochran sidestep a tackler, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Cadillac. Nifty bit of running from Noah Cochran. 20-yard touchdown run for Noah Cochran. And with the extra point pending, we could have ourselves a tie ball game. It's the 4th rushing touchdown of the season for Noah Cochran. One of the senior leaders of this Cadillac Vikings team. And on to attempt the extra point is Colin Hess, a fellow senior. Kick is up, and that one nearly blocked, but sometimes you'll take the results and not question the manner and how they were delivered. We have a tie ball game with 2:21 in the opening quarter of the Michigan High School football game of the week between the Gaylord Blue Devils and the Cadillac Vikings. I want to go ahead and give a big shout out to the crew. Our director, Wyatt Van Dynen. We have one of the students over at the Career Tech Center that is manning 2 cameras at once and braving the elements of rain, wind, and trust me, it's not sunbathing weather out there. It's cold, frigid here in Cadillac, Michigan. An action-packed first quarter. Vikings, their first 2 drives result in turnovers via fumble. First drive, 3 and out for Gaylord. Second one, a 45-yard touchdown drive, capped by Quinn Schultz on a 1-yard touchdown run. Colin Hess will kick off for the Cadillac Vikings. Back to receive, Quinn Schultz and Gavin Freeman for Gaylord. The 16-yard line, it's Schultz who receives the kick. And good coverage from the Vikings unit. Tackled by Dan Gray, the senior. Good kick coverage from the Vikings kick coverage unit. That'll bring up the 3rd offensive possession of the night for the Gaylord Blue Devils with 2:14 remaining in the first quarter of a tie ball game at 7-7. We have Corey Deere working out of the shotgun on 1st and 10. Freeman in motion. This time it's a quarterback keeper around the left edge. And beautiful job coming up from the cornerback spot. Jacob Metzger blew that play up. No gain on the play. If anything, a short loss. That's how you come up and set the edge, Mr. Metzger. 2nd and 11 on the horizon for Gaylord. The Vikings in purple. Gaylord Blue Devils with yellow and white, blue helmets. 2nd and 11, Deere out of the shotgun. Give goes to Schultz. Around the right edge, and good pursuit from the Vikings defense. Carter Harsh has been all over the place in the opening quarter defensively. Consecutive carries that result in a 1-yard loss. 3rd and 12 from the 26-yard line. Gaylord has been able to extend drives and pick up 3rd down conversions when faced with 3rd and short. Their first drive saw 3rd and 9 and an incomplete pass. So we'll likely see Corey Deere go to the air with 42 seconds remaining, and we will have our first timeout of the evening from Gaylord. Head coach Sean Sargent wants to go ahead and talk it over with his quarterback and the rest of his offensive unit. And this has been one of the wilder seasons, not just for Michigan high school football, but for all sports here in 2020, as there was plenty of doubts that we would actually, or jeopardy anyway, concern that we wouldn't even be able to get a football season in. And head coach Cody Mallory of the Cadillac Vikings said every Friday is a special night, a priceless opportunity to take the field. And so many things out of all these players' control. If one player tests positive, in fact, there was a game that was up here in northern Michigan that was canceled because of COVID-19 today. So these seniors understand how precious it is to have the Friday night lights on and be playing football here in 2020. We pick up action, 3rd and 12. 42 seconds remaining. And we'll have Corey Deere out of the shotgun. Deere looks like it's a quarterback sweep around the left edge. He's got a lead blocker in Schultz. Flying up from the safety spot, Keaton Saminsky laying downhill, filling the alley. And that does bring him down just shy of the 35-yard line. That will bring up 4th and sizable, right around 4th and 4. And on trots the punting unit for Gaylord. But one thing that's always tricky when your quarterback is the punter, that coverage unit defensively has to stay on their toes because the punter could throw. As it is Corey Deere back to punt. Saminsky and Carter Harsh back to receive for the Vikings. Kick is up. It's another wobbler. And this one takes a Cadillac bounce. And for the second consecutive punt, the Cadillac Vikings are going to be setting up shop right at midfield or nearly in Gaylord territory. 4th possession of the opening quarter for the Vikings. This will likely be the final play of the first quarter for Cadillac. 28 seconds remaining in a tie football game in the Michigan High School Football Game of the Week here in the Big North Conference. The Vikings have already locked up the number 3 spot in the Big North Conference, going 3-2 in conference play. 1st and 10, Gurdon under center. This one's the option keeper, Gurdon. On the quarterback keeper, he's going to be brought down just shy of the sticks by Jonathan Augst. Jonathan Augst, that's his 3rd tackle of the opening quarter, and that'll be the final play of the first quarter here at Veterans Memorial Stadium for the Michigan High School Football Game of the Week. We have a tie ball game between the Gaylord Blue Devils and the Cadillac Vikings at 7-all. Stay tuned, we have more high school football action here on NewsNet Sports.
High school sports are brought to you in part by Wolverine Power Cooperative and by Great Lakes Energy. Your local electric cooperative is looking out for you.
We pick up with a senior night celebration here at Veterans Memorial Stadium because it was a Carter Harsh touchdown run to open the second quarter as the Vikings take a 13-7 lead on the opening play of the second quarter. I'm Derek Tate here for the Michigan High School Football Game of the Week here on NewsNet Sports. Colin Hess on to attempt the extra point. Kick is up, and he's 2 for 2 for extra points tonight as the Cadillac Vikings take a 14-7 lead. Normally I have an opportunity to go ahead and ease my way into a quarter, kind of catch you up on exactly what took place in the previous 12 minutes, but sometimes we don't have those things. Sometimes you got to roll with the punches. And speaking of punches, it was the Gaylord Blue Devils that landed the first punch in the opening quarter. Not only did they turn over the Cadillac Vikings, recovering 2 fumbles, but then went on a 45-yard touchdown drive and got on the board first with a 1-yard touchdown run from Quinn Schultz, but the Cadillac Vikings offense responded, and it was Noah Cochran ripping off 2 big runs. The one that found pay dirt was from 20 yards out, and that tied the game at 7-all, and that brought us to the opening play of the second quarter, which was Carter Harsh on a counter tray, taking it to the house. Now the Vikings have a 7-point advantage at 14-7 with 11:50 remaining in the second quarter. Colin Hess, just be glad you didn't miss the extra point. Colin Hess on to kick off for the Cadillac Vikings. Back to receive for Gaylord, number 5, Gavin Freeman, and number 4, Quinn Schultz. And we're underway. And this kick looks like it's going to go out of bounds. It does. Couldn't tell if Schultz got a hand on it. Apparently not. That one trickles out of bounds. It'll be a legal procedure on the Cadillac Vikings, which will give Gaylord good field position to start their opening possession of the second quarter. They now trail by 7 points. And we've seen a different Gaylord offensive attack as far as their efficiency in the red zone. First drive that got in a goal-to-go situation, the Blue Devils were able to punch it in. That was the story of missed opportunities in the Week 2 loss at the hands of the Vikings. And we'll see what Corey Deere can get moving with 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Freeman in motion. Back to pass is Deere with time. This one nearly intercepted. Dan Gray, or that's Carter Harsh that breaks it up. Pass intended for Adam Dost. The long, rangy receiver, the junior, number 11 for Gaylord. That one a little off the mark. That'll bring up 2nd and 10. Gaylord has been a tale of 2 different offensive looks. 2 3-and-outs, 1 touchdown drive. 2nd and 10, the hand goes to Quinn Schultz. He's going to be brought down just shy of the 40-yard line. Andrew Johns with his 2nd stop. And Jacob Metzger also in on the stop. 3rd and 7 on the way for the Blue Devils. This Vikings defense has given up a total of 21 points in their 3 wins so far in the 2020 season. 3rd and 7. Deere, play action, looking for Freeman. He's got him on the bubble screen. He makes a man miss. He's got the 1st down and more into Vikings territory, brought down by Carter Harsh. But that pass completion, good for, it would appear for about 13 yards. Freeman's first reception of the game. Corey Deere can get it done through the air. He torched the Alpena Wildcats to the tune of 213 yards and 3 scores in their lone win, 30-27, back on October 2nd. 1st and 10 for Gaylord at the 45-yard line of the Vikings. Freeman in motion. Schultz tried to bounce it to the left side, nothing doing. Ryan Warner, the big fella, the senior on the stop. No gain on the play, and a couple of Vikings down, including Warner, who was slow to get up, but this one looks like it's Chris Reinhold potentially, and it is a talented sophomore for Cody Mallory, who is down right around midfield. One thing, when you know that your team on the horizon is going to be playing playoff football, you just hope that the injury isn't serious. Reinhold. It's not often you see sophomores getting as much playing time on a good football team. This kid's got a lot of talent. On the year for Chris Reinhold. He's done plenty of damage on the offensive end, averaging 6.8 yards per carry, 178 yards, and a touchdown run. And Chris Reinhold is up and walking on his own power. So that is a good sight to see. We will keep you posted. And keep an eye on Chris Reinhold, as we'll pick up action with Gaylord in Vikings territory, facing a 2nd and a long 10 called 11 at the 46-yard line of the Vikings. The first drive that went into Vikings territory ended up in 6. Gaylord looking for that same level of success. 2nd and 11. It's going to be Corey Deere on the quarterback sweep around the right edge. Tries to sidestep one would-be tackler and nothing doing. The Vikings rally to the football, leading the charge. The senior, Luke Enyart. Coach Mallory had high praise. Speaking of the senior, Luke Enyart, just talked about his development as a football player over the years. Gain of a couple for Corey Deere. That'll bring up 3rd and 9 at the 44. They need to get to the 35 to extend the drive. Deere working out of the shotgun. Freeman in motion. Deere back to pass. Lets it rip on the wheel route, and that one falling incomplete. Looking for Freeman on the wheel route up the sideline. Good coverage from Jake Metzger, the junior cornerback. Incomplete pass will bring up 4th and long. And this looks like it'll be the 3rd punt of the evening for the Gaylord Blue Devils. The Vikings have moved the ball very effectively. It's only been when they've coughed it up. So you got to be pleased if you're head coach Mallory in the defensive effort. As the snap is good to Corey Deere, his kick sky high, and this one looks like it's going to finally take a Blue Devil bounce inside the 10-yard line, and that's where the Vikings will take over and look to add to their 14-7 advantage with 8:57 remaining in the first half. Four offensive possessions. This will be the 5th one for the Vikings, 2 ending in fumbles, 2 ending in touchdowns. You like the ones that have scored, and those are the previous 2 ones with Noah Cochran and Carter Harsh finding pay dirt. 1st and 10, Gurdon under center. Gurdon gives Cochran straight ahead, sheds one would-be tackler, and the senior fullback rumbling down to the 26-yard line. 17-yard gain for Noah Cochran. And he's beginning to chunk this unit defensively for Gaylord. Want to go ahead and give our sponsors a shout out. Wolverine Power Cooperative, Great Lakes Energy, and Doug Glass. They are the reason why we're able to bring you Michigan high school football here on Newsnet Sports. 1st and 10 for the Vikings at the 26. Gurdon under center. Gurdon, quarterback sweep left. Gurdon's got some room to run, and he's into the secondary. It's a foot race. Gurdon to the 20. Does he have the wheels? Yes, he does. Touchdown, Vikings. A 74-yard touchdown run from Aiden Gurdon. And the Vikings extend their lead. Beautiful bit of running from the junior quarterback. And that is a season-long run for Aiden Gurdon And he is now well over 600 yards rushing on the ground. That was his 9th rushing touchdown of the season. And the Vikings can take a 14-point lead if Colin Hess can tack on the extra point. Sometimes you overlook the snap on a cold, windy, and rainy night. They don't take it for granted here. Colin Hess splits the uprights as the Vikings have scored on 3 consecutive possessions. And a lot of long touchdown runs for Cadillac here on senior night at Veterans Memorial Stadium. The Vikings lead the Blue Devils 21-7. And again, as much as I love being the voice of Newsnet Sports here, I can't do it without my crew. Wyatt Van Dynen, the director, and down manning 2 separate cameras with rain, wind, cold that I don't wish on anybody is Miley. She's doing a fantastic job. You know, this Vikings unit, even though it wasn't a clean first quarter, 2 turnovers, head coach Cody Mallory can't be pleased about that. Although, in the defense of the players, it's a little... These conditions aren't exactly ideal for ball security. But the Vikings offense has certainly bounced back in a big way. Touchdown runs from Noah Cochran, Carter Harsh, and Aiden Gurdon. And all of a sudden, we're at a 21-7 lead, 21 unanswered points from this Vikings offensive unit. And Corey Deere is going to have his work cut out for him. As we've seen multiple 3-and-outs from this Gaylord offense as the kick again angled. And Colin Hess on consecutive kickoff attempts kicks it out of bounds. That's another illegal procedure penalty, which will advance the football to the 35-yard line for the Gaylord Blue Devils. And while the Vikings' bugaboo offensively tonight has been ball security, that hasn't been the issue for Gaylord. They just haven't been able to consistently stay ahead of the sticks. 1st and 10 from the 35, 14-point deficit for the Blue Devils. Deere working out of the shotgun. Freeman in motion. And here is a counter trade of Riley Hush. And hush, baby, don't say a word. That's a first down for the Blue Devils. Gain of 10. Luke Enyart with his 3rd stop of the evening for the Vikings defense. Enyart, the 3rd highest leading tackler heading into tonight. 34 tackles and 1 for a loss. Heading into the season finale. 1st and 10 for Gaylord. Schultz straight ahead. Schultz sidesteps 1 tackle and into Vikings territory. Good bit of running from Quinn Schultz. 12-yard gain and back-to-back first downs for Gaylord with 7:30 remaining in the first half. Vikings lead 21-7. Blue Devils trying to build off of consecutive first down rushing plays. 1st and 10, high snap handled by Corey Deere. And this one is drawn out. He doesn't like what he sees and just steps out of bounds before he gets lit up by Jake Metzger. You wonder if head coach Cody Mallory said all night, if you see Corey Deere tuck that one down to run, you set the edge aggressively, and Jake Metzger has made multiple plays coming up from the cornerback spot. And you got to love what you've seen from this junior. He's got 4 tackles tonight, 20 on the season heading into this. 2nd and 13 for Gaylord. Deere back to pass. Rolling right. Deere lets it go deep. Looking for Freeman. That one should have been intercepted. Keenan Szyminski had both hands on it. He likely was thinking, I'm going for 6 the other direction. One thing with trying to throw the football in these wet conditions, and it's windy, tough conditions to try to air it out deep. And we've seen a couple deep balls flutter from Corey Deere. And they've likely got another passing situation on 3rd and 13 from the 47-yard line. Deere working out of the shotgun. Deere back to pass. Rolling left, and he's going to tuck this one down and run. And he's knocked out of bounds by Noah Cochran. High-speed collision right around the 45-yard line. And that'll bring up 4th and 10. And again, the punting unit trots on for Gaylord. They have struggled when faced with 3rd and long tonight against this Vikings defense. Corey Deere to punt. Keenan Szyminski standing around the 10-yard line for the Vikings. Good snap. Deere's punt. High arcing kick. Szyminski thinks about it and wisely decides to step away from the loose ball. Great coverage from Jonathan Augst. Downs the football. And this is going to be the 2nd consecutive drive where the Vikings are backed up inside their own 10. But it hasn't really deterred this Vikings offense. Last 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns. A 40-yard run from Carter Harsh to start the 2nd quarter. A 20-yard touchdown run from Noah Cochran in the 1st quarter. And then can I interest you in a 74-yard touchdown run from Aiden Gurdon. Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their own 3-yard line. Gray in motion. Gurdon on the quarterback sweep. And that one sniffed out by the Blue Devil defense. Riley Hush with his 3rd tackle of the evening. Gain of 1. A little bit more breathing room for this Vikings offense, but they're still faced with a 2nd and 9. With 6:20 remaining in the 1st half, Vikings lead 21-7. Second and 9 at the 4. Gray in motion. Gurdon gives. Cochran rumbling downfield. Just sidestepping or running through arm tackles. And that is a 21-yard rumble for Noah Cochran. And that'll move the chains in the Vikings. We talked about in the pregame, one of the keys to victory for Gaylord was to play assignment football, and consistently they have been gashed on the ground by this Vikings triple option attack. Cadillac with a 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. Harsh in motion. Give Cochran again. And finally, dragged down by Adam Dost. If we had NFL Next Gen stats, I'd love to know what the yards after contact are for Noah Cochran, but we don't quite have that technology, unfortunately. Cochran's been getting going here on the 3 previous drives. 4-yard gain, 2nd and 6 for the Vikings. Reinhold in motion. He's back into the game. But don't worry, because Aiden Gurdon's doing it himself. He's got the 1st down past the 40-yard line. Brought down by Braden Gautreau. Aiden Gurdon and Noah Cochran have just been chunking this unit. We haven't seen Colin Johnston, who is also part of that triple-headed attack. 1st and 10 for the Vikings. Quarterback sweep left. Gurdon in trouble, and he's not able to Houdini himself out of this one. Joseph Bosgood on the stop for Gaylord, right past the line of scrimmage. Short gain, maybe a half a yard. We'll call it 2nd and 9 on the horizon for Cadillac. Through the first 2 games, the Vikings were able to run the ball at will, averaging over 300 yards per game on the ground. And they've been effective tonight. 2nd and 9 for Cadillac. Harsh in motion. Cochran straight ahead and just getting the gym as he is just dragging multiple defenders to midfield. And you sense the Vikings are playing with purpose, knowing that they want to clinch themselves a first-round bye in a home game on the other side. 3rd and 1 for Cadillac. Cochran straight ahead. He's got the first down and brought down just shy of the 45-yard line, and that'll move the chains. Cochran, if you had to assign a thunder and lightning to this rushing attack for the Vikings, the thunder is definitely Noah Cochran, running real hard. 1st and 10 from the 46. Gurdon, quarterback sneak. He liked what he saw in the A-gap, and who can blame him? That's 9 yards just running right behind his center, Carson Razio. We mentioned how the Vikings' rushing attack was averaging 300 yards per game, and a big reason that experienced unit up front, the offensive lineman. 2nd and 1 for the Vikings. Triple option straight ahead goes Noah Cochran into the teeth of that Gaylord defense. And for a second consecutive short yardage situation, Noah Cochran handles business, and they're starting to chew up the clock. 2:25 remaining in the first half. Vikings looking to add to their 14-point advantage. This big unit up front: Carson Razio, Ryan Wood, Ryan Warner, Bryce Benjelink. And here's the Vikings going to the air. Gurdon able to get that one off, and it went right between the 1 and the 2 on Carter Harsh, but great defensive play from Jonathan Augst, who breaks it up. I almost had to check myself there. A lot of running the football. Didn't expect the play action. And even you tricked the old announcer up here, head coach Mallory. Incomplete pass brings up 2nd and 10 for the Vikings. The Vikings have been able to impose their will offensively with that offensive unit up front. Reinhold in motion. Cochran on the call. And Cochran straight ahead. We have now seen about 4 or 5 runs right behind Carson Razio and Ryan Wood. They are just running downhill. It's bully ball up front for the Vikings. 1st and 10 for Cadillac. Option left. Gurdon on the keeper. Gurdon's going to have a first down inside the 10-yard line. And we'll have a goal-to-go situation for the Vikings with 1:48 remaining and looking to add to their 14-point lead. And then this is what I would call a rhythm. This Vikings offense has gotten into a rhythm. The game has really slowed down in the triple option for Aiden Gurdon. 1st and 10 at the 8. 1st and goal at the 8, excuse me. Gurdon, quarterback keeper right. He's got plenty of running room, lunging for the end zone. Touchdown, Cadillac. Aiden Gurdon with his 2nd rushing touchdown of the night, and he is now in double digits for the season. 10 rushing touchdowns in just 6 games for Aiden Gurdon, the junior quarterback, and the Vikings extend their lead 27-7. That big offensive line cleared a big lane, and Gurdon did the rest. Colin Hess on to attempt the extra point. Kick is a line drive, but it splits the uprights. He's 4 for 4 on the evening for extra points. And the Vikings have scored 28 unanswered and have a 28-7 lead with 1:43 remaining in the first half here on senior night at Veterans Memorial Stadium. The Cadillac Vikings offensive attack up front. They have paved the way for a lot of these gash plays on the ground. Gurdon now well over 100 yards rushing on the evening. Cochran's got to be flirting with it. Over 200 yards of rushing from this Vikings unit in the first half. Dominant performance up front for the Vikings offensive line. But on the other side, Corey Deere, he does have 2 timeouts left, 1:43 on the clock. And they will get the ball at halftime. So if they can find a way to get into the end zone and trim this 21-point lead down and make it a 2-score game, that's what you're looking for if you're head coach Sean Sargent. Colin Hess to kick off. His previous 2 kicks have gone out of bounds for an illegal procedure. Schultz and Freeman back to receive. And Schultz will gather it at the 26. And Schultz will be brought down by a host of Vikings defenders led by Luke Enyart. Around an 8-yard return. And ironically enough, this is the 3rd possession in a row. That'll start at the 35-yard line for the Gaylord Blue Devils. Corey Deere has 1:38 remaining and 2 timeouts at his disposal. 1st and 10 for Gaylord. High snap, handled, Schultz on the carry. And the first play of the drive will gain 4 as the clock ticks beneath 1:30 remaining. Final 90 seconds. And the Blue Devils are in a hurry-up. Deere back to pass. Looking for Adam Dost. He's got his man, and he's right near the sticks. Clock will stop while they reset the sticks. If they do indeed say that he's got the first, they say it's 3rd and short, though. So gain of 5, 3rd and 1 for Gaylord. Clock ticks down to 1 minute, and they decide to go ahead and burn one of their 2 timeouts. I imagine that head coach Sargent thought that play resulted in a first down. You had the time to stop the clock, but instead it kept rolling. And from the time that he was brought down up until the time the timeout was called, 13 seconds bleeded off the clock. Don't forget to stay. Don't miss us for the halftime show. We've got second half action as well for the final high school football game of the week here on Newsnet Sports. 3rd and 1 on the horizon for Corey Deere and the Blue Devil offense. We've seen a quarterback sneak or 2 from, and it looks like they're going to go to it again. Quarterback sneak, and for the 3rd occasion, it does garner a first down. That'll move the chains. Clock stops with 58 seconds left. Now they go back to the shotgun. Corey Deere with 1st and 10 at the 46. Deere looking for his man, and that one should have been intercepted. Well, could have been intercepted. Carter Harsh, great coverage. All over the intended target, Jonathan Ongst. We have not seen either team find any real success through the air Again, a wet ball, tough conditions, rainy, windy. The problem is that Gaylord may have to throw the football to try to get back into this one and dip into this 21-point deficit. Deere back to pass. He's got some time. That one fallen incomplete. Intended for Adam Dost. Good coverage from the senior, Dan Gray, coming from his strong safety spot. 3rd and 10. And this has been the Achilles heel of this Gaylord offense tonight, is 3rd and long situations. We'll see what head coach Sargent dials up. As Corey Deere will be working out of the shotgun. 11 personnel. Deere, play action. And it's a quarterback keeper to the left edge. And he will get into Vikings territory. The clock will continue to run. 1 timeout remaining, 37 seconds and counting. 4th down and 4. Deere back to pass. He's got Adam Dost. This time he does have the first down, stays on his feet before he's finally dragged down inside the 40-yard line, and it looks like they may try to spike this one to save that timeout. 21 seconds left. Clock is running. Deere, bad snap. He's in trouble. And he somehow gets that away with a man hanging on him. That's Caleb McKindy or Alan Wang. Got myself 2 number 19s on the roster, but either way, somehow Corey Deere was able to avoid the sack, and it stops the clock with 12 seconds remaining in the first half. And that play could have been far more disastrous than it turned out to be. That ball felt like it was on the ground for a painfully long amount of time, and Coach Sargent is going to spend his final timeout to try to dial up the play that he wants. With just 12 seconds remaining, 2nd and 10 on the 38-yard line. We'll see if they try to take a couple shots towards the end zone or if they try to chunk the Vikings for a first down and then try to kill it to get one more shot a bit closer. The Cadillac Vikings are looking to finish the season on a high note. They already have clinched that first round bye, which is so important and so useful for a team heading into the playoffs. We resume 2nd and 10, 12 seconds left. Now no timeouts remaining. And we've got Quinn Schultz under center. Schultz rolling right. He's going to try to heave this one into the end zone. It's a Hail Mary. Corey Deere, it goes right through his hands. Schultz gave Corey Deere every opportunity you would want on a play like that. Great throw from Quinn Schultz. Illegal motion on Gaylord, and that will repeat 2nd down, but this will be the final play of the first half. Boy, with a 5-yard penalty, Schultz had enough on that to be able to get it to the end zone. He nearly threw it out the back. And they'll get one more crack at it. From the 43, last play of the first half. Schultz rolling right, climbs the pocket, lets it go. It's a rainbow looking for Dost, and that one falls incomplete. And that'll bring the end of the action here of the first half with the Cadillac Vikings leading the Gaylord Blue Devils by a score of 28-7. Stay tuned as we're going to have a halftime show coming at you here on Newsnet Sports.
High school sports are brought to you in part by Wolverine Power Cooperative and by Great Lakes Energy. Your local electric cooperative is looking out for you.
Halftime at Veterans Memorial Stadium here on Senior Night as you're getting a look at the Cadillac Marching Band as the Cadillac Vikings lead the Gaylord Blue Devils by a score of 28-7 at the halftime break. I'm Derek Tate. Thank you for tuning in to Newsnet Sports for the season finale of the Michigan High School Football Game of the Week. And it started off like any Game of the Week should. Both teams exchanged scores in the first quarter, and it was a rough start offensively for the Cadillac Vikings offense. First, it was a Noah Cochran fumble. Then, on the ensuing possession for the Vikings, Aiden Gurdon's pitch to Carter Harsh didn't find the mark. It was Quinn Schultz who recovered that fumble and then also punched it in from the 1-yard line to give the Blue Devils a 7-point lead. But since that point, it has been all Cadillac Vikings. The Vikings scored with Noah Cochran on a 20-yard touchdown run to tie the game at the end of the first quarter. They went knotted 7-7, and then the Vikings offense just exploded in the second quarter. Literally, on the very first play, Carter Harsh with a 40-yard touchdown run to give the Vikings a 14-7 lead. Then on the next possession, it was Aiden Gurdon says, anything you can do, I can do better. 74-yard touchdown run from Aiden Gurdon. That was a season-long, and really, that actually tied the season-long run for any Cadillac Viking, as it was Colin Johnston who also had a 74-yard run earlier in the season. And then to wrap it all up, it was Aiden Gurdon yet again with his second rushing touchdown of the evening, this one from 9 yards out. And that's how we've arrived at 28-7 here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. Go ahead and we'll leave you with some sights and sounds of the Cadillac Marching Band, as we'll have third quarter and second half action on the horizon here on Newsnet Sports. Stay tuned for the Michigan High School Football Game of the Week.
High school sports are brought to you in part by Wolverine Power Cooperative and by Great Lakes Energy. Your local electric cooperative is looking out for you.
Third quarter action on the horizon here on Senior Night at Veterans Memorial Stadium for the Michigan High School Football Game of the Week between the Gaylord Blue Devils and the Cadillac Vikings. And the host squad leads the Gaylord Blue Devils by a score of 28-7 heading into the third quarter. I'm Derek Tate, and thank you for joining us here on Newsnet Sports. How we arrived at 28-7. It was a rough start for the Vikings offense as they fumbled away the football, 2 turnovers on their first 2 drives. And on the second one, it was recovered by Quinn Schultz, and then he ended up punching it in from the 1-yard line to give the Gaylord Blue Devils a 7-0 advantage. But then from that point on, it's been all Cadillac as their rushing attack has absolutely taken over. Noah Cochran scored a 20-yard score. Then Carter Harsh, on the first play of the second quarter, scored a 40-yard touchdown run. And then Gurdon, to close out the action, scored a pair of touchdowns. One a 76-yard variety and the other being of a 9-yard variety. And that is how we have arrived at 28-7. It is Gaylord that will start with the football, and they have a 21-point deficit to try to chip into to start the third quarter. Kick is short and gathered by Gavin Freeman. Right around the 18-yard line, a return of 10 before he's dropped by Carter Harsh, and that is where Corey Deere and the Gaylord offense will look to dip into this 21-point deficit. We actually may have a new quarterback under center. It looks as if calling the plays. We've got Adam Dost, and he is lined up at the quarterback spot with Quinn Schultz to his right. 1st and 10 for Gaylord. High snap, and that one is over the head of Adam Dost, and he falls on it at the 10-yard line. And that's not the way you want to start the third quarter. It's like trying to walk through the front door and stubbing your toe on the welcome sign. Significant loss, 17-yard loss. Check that, 18. Second and 20, well, 27, 28-ish. We'll call it 27 and a half. Rough start for Gaylord. That's not the way you want to settle in your new quarterback, by shooting the ball 10 feet over his head. Second and 27. Dost. Another high snap. This one Dost gets on, but he is going to be dropped in the end zone for a safety. Luke Enyard. Beautiful play by the senior, and on back-to-back plays to start the second half. All kinds of issues with the snap. Two of them sail over Adam Dost's head. The first one for a 17-yard loss, the second one for a safety. And the Vikings extend their lead 30-7. And I imagine that head coach Sean Sargent of the Gaylord Blue Devils has to just be shaking his head, throwing a clipboard. Whatever way he's deciding to go ahead and display his frustration is warranted after back-to-back arid snaps. So now the Gaylord Blue Devils, who always had that in their back pocket, that they were going to start the second half with possession of the football, gives it right away. And now the Vikings will look to add to their 3-score advantage after the safety. This kicks a good one all the way to the 38-yard line. It's Carter Harsh. He is now into Gaylord territory, cutting it back, still going, but finally dropped. Dropped by Austin Vanderveer, the junior DB. Looks like there's a flag on the play, so the officials seem to be marching the football back into Cadillac territory. And it's going to be on the Vikings. Cadillac still in business, though. 1st and 10 at their own 45-yard line, as opposed to the Vikings being in Gaylord territory at the 45. Aiden Gurdon going to work. First possession offensively for the Vikings. 2 touchdowns in the first half on the ground for Gurdon. Harsh in motion. Give goes straight ahead to Noah Cochran. Cochran also topped the century mark on the ground in the opening half. Gain of 4. Colin Shelniak on the stop for Gaylord. Second down for the Vikings. Just shy of midfield. Harsh in motion. Give goes to Cochran. Excuse me, that is Caleb McKinley on this carry. Check that. The sophomore, rumbling forward on consecutive carries. Gain of 5 brings it to 3rd and 1 at the 46. And we mentioned that heading into this game, the Vikings to impose your will offensively, and they have done just that. 3rd and 1, and this is another gashing carry right through the A-gap. Caleb McKinley looking like he was shot out of a cannon. And that's going to be a gain of 13 for the sophomore, and that garners a first down, the first one of the Vikings' second half. Gurdon under center on 1st and 10. Option right. Football is on the ground, and it looks like somehow, fortuitously, Gurdon appears to have wrestled the football away. And really the Vikings offense, ever since turning the football over on consecutive drives to start the game, they have cleaned it up offensively, have just been dominant. But a little bit of issues with the mesh point between the junior Gurdon and the sophomore McKinley. So much of that option offense relies on timing and for the quarterback to be able to ride the fullback while he reads the defensive end. 2nd and 12. Gurdon gives McKinley. And McKinley is brought down by a host of Gaylord defenders leading the charge. Austin Vanderveer, his second tackle of the second half, gets back what they lost. Gain of 3 will bring up a 3rd and long. Cadillac hasn't seen many 3rd and long down and distance so far tonight. It'll be interesting to see if head coach Mallory decides to go ahead and let Aiden Gurdon air it out. Gurdon under center on 3rd down. Harsh in motion. It's going to be Gurdon on the quarterback sweep. Stays on his feet after contact, falls forward, and that'll move the chains. He needed 9, he got 11. And Gurdon continues to do all kinds of damage on the ground with his legs. And that's to no surprise. The leading rusher for this Cadillac offense heading into this game, and has even added to that total with his 3rd 100-yard rushing effort of the season. 1st and 10 for the Vikings at the 22. Harsh in motion. Gurdon gives. That's Caleb McKinley. And this Blue Devil defense is getting a heavy dose of the sophomore. 6-yard gain from Caleb McKinley. And now the Vikings are in the red zone, where they have been money on the evening. Cadillac needs to get to the 10-yard line for a first down. 2nd and 4. Gurdon back to pass, looking for Colin Hess. Hess can't quite haul it in, a little too high. Gurdon upset with himself. Good coverage by Logan Ford, the senior DB. Gurdon looked like he was throwing an 8-yard out route to Colin Hess. Air mailed that just a little bit. Again, tough conditions out here tonight to try to throw the football. And we've got a 3rd and 4 for the Vikings offense. Try to draw the Blue Devils offsides. They reset. 3rd and 4. Gurdon on the keeper. Gurdon was contacted behind the first down marker, but his second effort dragging the defender that was Quinn Schultz. It looks like he's going to drag him past the first down marker. First down, Cadillac. And the way they mark it, it would appear they are just at the 10-yard line, so it will be 1st and goal from the 10. Last goal to go situation, Gurdon took care of the deed himself. 1st and goal. Gurdon gives McKinley inside the 5-yard line. Tell that sophomore wants to find pay dirt. Austin Vanderveer, he's been busy for the Blue Devil defense. 7-yard carry by McKinley. That'll bring up 2nd and goal from the 3. Would not be shocked to see if they call McKinley's number yet again. Gurdon, option left, give McKinley, trying to power his way to the end zone. And it looks like that Gaylord defense stood tall and proud and kept him just shy of that goal line. And that'll bring up 3rd and goal with less than a yard. Reinhold in motion. Give goes to McKinley. McKinley into the end zone. Touchdown, Vikings. Caleb McKinley with his first rushing touchdown of the season. And the Vikings extend their lead 36-7. Impressive drive from the Vikings. 65-yard drive to capitalize on consecutive snaps that went over the head of the quarterback, the last one resulting in a safety against Gaylord. Colin Hess, his extra point is good, as the Vikings lead the Gaylord Blue Devils here on senior night at Veterans Memorial Stadium 37-7. Take this opportunity on a cold, wet, and rainy night to thank our crew. Wyatt Van Dynen directing, and then handling 2 cameras down there from the Career Tech Center. Student Miley, she's doing an absolutely fantastic job braving the elements. And while we're at it, speaking of thanking folks, we have to thank our sponsors for bringing you tonight's Michigan High School Football Game of the Week here on Newsnet Sports. Wolverine Power Cooperative, Great Lakes Energy, and Douglas, your window shop specialist here in Cadillac, Michigan. 37 unanswered points from the Cadillac Vikings after the Gaylord Blue Devils took a 7-0 lead. It's been all Cadillac. Gaylord decided to go ahead and go with a different quarterback to start the second half. And none of it's been his fault. Just 2 plays that have resulted in negative 35 yards. Colin Hess to kick off. Gavin Freeman receives it at the 15-yard line. Freeman in trouble and finally shoved out of bounds. Looks like there's going to be a flag, potentially a holding call on Quinn Schultz. He was trying to deal with Keenan Saminsky. And it is holding on Gaylord. We talked about the Vikings. Their number 1 key to victory tonight was containing quarterback Corey Deere. Now, we have not gotten any word on whether or not Corey Deere suffered some sort of injury, which is leading to Adam Doss now under center. But they pretty much bottled up Corey Deere outside of a couple quarterback sneaks here and there. And we'll see how they do against Adam Doss, who has played mostly at wide receiver. 1st and 10 for Gaylord. Freeman in motion. Here's a quarterback give to Freeman on the jet sweep. Finds a little bit of running room around that right side. Brought down just shy of the 25-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd and 4. And when Gaylord has been able to get positive gains of 5 or more yards on 1st down, they've moved the ball quite well. It's just when they come up empty on 1st and 2nd down and 4th and 3rd and longs that they've struggled. 2nd and 4 for Gaylord. Quinn Schultz on the carry. And the Vikings rally to the football. Trenton Dennis on the stop. The junior. So we've seen this Vikings defense in hot pursuit all evening long. Multiple tackles for losses as they held this Gaylord offense to only 7 points in the 21-7 victory back in week 2. And it's been tough sledding ever since the opening score for Gaylord. Here's 3rd and 3. Quinn Schultz lunging ahead. He's going to be close to the sticks, but it looks like he's going to be cut down just shy of the 1st down marker. Andrew Johns on the stop, able to trip him up prior to him getting the distance to go to extend the drive. And Quinn Schultz is now back there to punt to replace Corey Deere as the punter, but we all know Schultz can run, and we've got a 4th and 1 and a 30-point deficit. And they are going to punt. Schultz's kick is right around the 50-yard line. It may even hit that 50-yard marker. And Cadillac will have their second offensive possession of the second half begin in Gaylord territory. Right at the 49-yard line, they take over with a 30-point advantage, 37-7, over the Gaylord Blue Devils with 2:55 remaining in the third quarter. Gurdon with 2 rushing touchdowns. Caleb McKinley scored a rushing touchdown. Now Noah Cochran with a score. This option attack has been firing on all cylinders. And we still have Aiden Gurdon in the game. 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. Gurdon gives. Noah Cochran re-enters the game, and he plunges his way into Gaylord territory. That'll bring up 2nd down after a gain of 5. And Gaylord hasn't really been beat out much on the edge when it comes to this option attack. It's more so been Gurdon and Cochran taking turns, gashing this defense. 2nd and 6 for Cadillac. It's actually McKinley now in under center. He gives to Noah Cochran. Powers ahead past the 45-yard line. Brought down just shy of the 40. Gain of a long 3. That'll bring up 3rd and 3 for the Vikings. Caleb McKinley replacing Aiden Gurdon under center. Doing a little bit of everything is Caleb McKinley. 3rd down for the Vikings. McKinley on the quarterback keeper. He's got the 1st down and engages with 3 different Blue Devil defenders. And it's easy to see why they want to get Caleb McKinley, this talented sophomore, involved. Gain of 5, that'll move the chains. 1st and 10 for the Vikings at the 35-yard line with 1:30 remaining in the third quarter. Final 90 seconds. McKinley under center. Option right. And it's Cochran who sidesteps one tackler and now inside the 20-yard line, rumbling all the way to the 15. What a night for the senior fullback, Noah Cochran. You kind of feel as if they could have just handed the ball to Noah Cochran and asked him to run 38 or 39 dive in the A-gap on either side all night. He is cooking. Another 1st down for the Vikings. Just over 1 minute remaining in the third. McKinley. He's going to keep it this time. And another chunk gain on the ground for the Vikings. They are now inside the 10-yard line on a 2nd straight possession. Look like a 7-yard gain. That'll bring up 2nd and 3 from the 8-yard line, as this may be the final play of the third quarter with 35 seconds left. Vikings trying to add to their 30-point lead. McKinley just scored his 1st rushing touchdown of the 2020 season. Will he see a 2nd? Harsh in motion. Give. Cochran. And he is going to be stacked up just before the 5-yard line, and it looks like to begin the fourth quarter, we'll see a 3rd and 1 on the way as the Cadillac Vikings extend their lead. They add 9 points in the third quarter. They now lead the Gaylord Blue Devils 37-7. Stay tuned as we conclude our Michigan High School football game of the week here on Newsnet Sports.
High school sports are brought to you in part by Wolverine Power Cooperative and by Great Lakes Energy. Your local electric cooperative is looking out for you.
Fourth quarter action here for the Michigan High School football game of the week. Vikings looking to add to their 37-7 lead on 3rd and 1. It's Caleb McKinley who will move the chains, and they'll have a 1st and goal to go to open the 4th quarter as the Vikings lead the Gaylord Blue Devils 37-7. I'm Derek Tate here on NewsNet Sports. Thank you for joining us for our season finale here on the Michigan High School Football Game of the Week. And it's been all Vikings. They've got a 1st and goal at the 2-yard line. It's McKinley under center, the sophomore. And the hard count and the snap motion gets the Blue Devils to jump off sides. That is their 3rd offsides penalty on the night. Half the distance to the goal, and we'll have 1st and goal from the 1. We'll see which direction the Vikings decide to go here on 1st and goal. McKinley, quarterback keeper. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Vikings. 2nd rushing touchdown of the night for the sophomore Caleb McKinley. He didn't score the previous 5 games, but he is making his presence felt here on senior night at Veterans Memorial Stadium as the Vikings now lead the Gaylord Blue Devils 43-7. Seems to be a little bit of miscommunication on the extra point. Wouldn't be surprised if we have ourselves a timeout. Bryce Benjelink, a little miscommunication. And it's a timeout from head coach Cody Mallory. And we'll go ahead and get you caught up on how we arrived at 43-7. If you are just now joining us here on NewsNet Sports for the Michigan High School Football Game of the Week, you might look at the scoreboard and wonder how the Gaylord Blue Devils scored first. They actually had a 7-0 lead at one point in the 1st quarter after the Cadillac Vikings fumbled on their opening 2 offensive possessions to start the game. It was a 1-yard touchdown run from Quinn Schultz for Gaylord to get them on the board and a 7-0 advantage before the Vikings have now scored 43 unanswered points, 2 rushing touchdowns from Caleb McKinley, 2 rushing touchdowns from Aiden Gurdon, a rushing touchdown for Carter Harsh, and a 20-yarder from Noah Cochran. And also a safety that was added on the 2nd snap of the 3rd quarter on consecutive plays where the snap went over the quarterback's head. The 2nd one resulted in a safety. Now Colin Hess trots onto the football field. This will be his 6th extra point attempt of the evening. Snap is down, kick is up, and it's good. As the Cadillac Vikings, with 11:15 remaining in tonight's contest, have a 37-point lead over the Gaylord Blue Devils, 44-7. It's a great opportunity to go ahead and thank our sponsors, which are the reason why we're able to bring you the Michigan High School Football Game of the Week action for the 2020 season. Wolverine Power Cooperative, Great Lakes Energy, and Doug Glass, the window shop specialist here in Cadillac, Michigan. So we take a look back heading into the opening kickoff. The Gaylord Blue Devils sitting at 1-4. They knew they had to play assignment football to slow down the triple option. They had to win on 1st and 2nd down on the offensive end and the defensive end to go ahead and force this Vikings unit into 3rd and longs, try to force Aiden Gurdon to try to throw the football in tough rainy conditions and finish drives. Now, they did finish the first drive that they got inside the 10-yard line. They just haven't had that many opportunities. And unfortunately, they have not been able to slow down this Cadillac rushing attack, led by a fantastic offensive line unit for the Vikings up front. Seems like they've just been running behind Carson Razio, Ryan Wood, Ryan Warner, and Bryce Benjelink all game long. Colin Hess to kick off. Here's a bit of a squibber picked up by Bennett Sides right around the 30-yard line. Return of 7 before he's slung down. Luke Enyart, been all over the place defensively and even on special teams. As it's going to continue to be Adam Dost Under center now for the Gaylord Blue Devils. The junior quarterback, standing 6'2", 170. We'll see what he can do against this stout Vikings defensive unit. As we have a running clock now here in the third quarter. Dost looking for Freeman right in the bread bucket. And it's Gavin Freeman up the right sideline. He coughs it up. Fumble, and it's recovered by Connor Anderson right around the 20-yard line. A great defensive play by the senior Dan Gray, hustling down the field to poke the ball loose. And it's another turnover for the Gaylord Blue Devils. Head coach Cody Mallory mentioned how important it was to see Dan Gray and guys like Noah Cochran, Ryan Wood, Luke Enyart, who played and had some rough learning experiences as sophomores. They've all come into their own here in the 2020 season, and a great play from Dan Gray. As we have a timeout from Gaylord. So we go ahead, and now that it's a 35-point lead, as we mentioned before, now a timeout will stop the clock. But outside of that, we will have a running clock. And really, when speaking to head coach Cody Mallory of the Cadillac Vikings, of course, they're looking forward to the playoffs. They're going to have a first-round bye. But he mentioned tonight that this team was a full go, and they haven't played a clean game yet on both sides of the football from start to finish. But he wanted them to play violent football tonight. And boy, have they been physical up front against this Gaylord Blue Devil unit. He said he wasn't going to get cute, and he hasn't. He has continued to keep the pedal to the metal as the Vikings have the possession again, 1st and 10. And there's a little bit of a counter tray. Couldn't quite catch who got the carry, but little to no gain. 22, Dan Gray. They rewarded him with a carry. On the stop was Braden Goutreau, who recovered a fumble in the first half on the opening possession, courtesy of Noah Cochran. But it's been quiet ever since for Goutreau. 2nd and 9 for the Vikings. Pitch goes to Dan Gray. Sidesteps one would-be tackler, but the Gaylord Blue Devils do a good job scraping down the line of scrimmage. And that'll be 55 on the stop. Connor Abraham. First tackle of the evening for the junior Blue Devil. Vikings will have 3rd and 8. 8:46 remaining in tonight's contest. Reinhold in motion. Looks like it's Noah Cochran who got the call. Fullback dive. Not much doing. And that will bring up 4th down after the gain of 4. And on trots Colin Hess and the rest of the punting unit for the Cadillac Vikings. First punt of the evening for Cadillac offensively. Back to receive for Gaylord. Rylan Borowiak. And this time it's the Vikings who move prior to the snap. And I'll back up Cadillac on the false start. Cost him 5. Under 8 minutes remaining here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. This is the type of momentum that head coach Cody Mallory is looking to take into the postseason. Good snap to Colin Hess. Kick is up. And Borowiak is nowhere near that one as it's a short kick. A net of 25 yards on the punt. And this is some of the best field position that the Gaylord Blue Devils have seen the entire evening. In fact, the last time they started their drive on the 45-yard line of the Cadillac Vikings, they scored their lone touchdown of the evening. Adam Dost, still your leading man under center for Gaylord. We still have Quinn Schultz in at tailback. 1st and 10 for Gaylord. Dost gives Schultz around the left edge. A little stiff arm before he shoved out of bounds by Keenan Szyminski. One of the better runs of the evening for Quinn Schultz. Gain of 6, 5, 6-ish. They'll bring up 2nd down inside the 40-yard line. It's been a challenging set of conditions out there for the players. Mucked up field and a lot of rain. Dost gives to Schultz. Schultz met in the backfield, spins out of one would-be tackler, reverses his field before he's finally slung out of bounds by Connor Anderson. Gain of 5. He's going to be right near the sticks. We'll see if they mark him just shy or if he actually picks. No, he'll be just a little bit short. And they'll bring up 3rd and 1 with 5:30 remaining. As we'll see if Gaylord can find the end zone to finish this regular season of Michigan High School Football 2020 version, and one that we feel lucky that we're even able to have, given all of the challenging circumstances around the country. 3rd and 1. Dost under center, quarterback sneak, and on all short yardage situations where they've tried a quarterback keeper, it has been effective. That'll move the chains. 4:55 remaining in tonight's contest, and 1st and 10 for the Blue Devils offense. Just shy of the 30-yard line. This Vikings defense, again, they've only given up 21 points in their 3 losses. Their two losses, prior to this. And they may average right around. Dost to Freeman. He's got his man. He's got him in the open field. Slips a tackle into the end zone. Gavin Freeman, touchdown, Gaylord. A 30-yard touchdown pass. Adam Dost to Gavin Freeman, the junior-to-junior connection. And the Gaylord Blue Devils find pay dirt with 4 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. That's the 3rd time they've completed that little bubble screen, and this time it went to the house. Hayden Collins on to attempt the extra point. Slips, but the kick still goes up and through the uprights. Who put the banana peel out there for Mario Kart? 44-14. Vikings on top. 4:20 remaining here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. And again, got to give one more shout out to the crew. Director Wyatt Van Dynen. From the Career Tech Center, Miley, she's done a fantastic job. Can't thank her enough. Out there braving the elements on a cold, windy, rainy, mostly everything unpleasant type of evening. She's outside working double time on 2 cameras. She's the real MVP. So Gaylord finds pay dirt for the 2nd time in this contest. But the 2 touchdowns scored were in vastly different situations and at points during this game. .420 remaining. Vikings look to get possession. We'll see if they decide to dial up some sort of onside kick. They don't. It's Carter Harsh who takes it at the 19-yard line. Harsh. And look at the lasso. Get over here. Austin Vanderveer does he have Stickum on those gloves? Because he couldn't get out of the grasp of Vanderveer. Great open field tackle there from the Blue Devils. Vikings will have what could be their final possession offensively. Begin at the 36-yard line, just past that 35. Here we go. We're going to get one more look at Caleb McKinley, the sophomore, taking some reps at quarterback. 2 touchdowns on the evening and a 1st and 10 from the 36. McKinley. Speaking of quarterback sneak effectiveness, we've seen Aiden Gurdon have some effects, just riding right behind Carson Razio and Bryce Benjelink, and big unit up front. They've done a great job tonight for the Vikings. 3:44 remaining in the 4th and final quarter. 2nd and 6 for Cadillac. Running the option is Caleb McKinley, and McKinley is into Gaylord territory, and stiff arms 1 and 2 guys still going. What a run from the sophomore. Couldn't tell if he wanted to run people over or if he tried to outrun them to the end zone. Either way, sheds 2 tacklers before he's finally dragged down. And the Vikings are in business with 3:20 remaining, as they'll continue to give this good-looking sophomore reps under center. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 13. McKinley under center. A little communication. Tim Richards now in at fullback. And it's Richards who gets the call. Not a whole lot doing, maybe a gain of a couple. Which will bring up 2nd and 8 with 2:40 remaining. What a dominant performance up front for the Vikings. The Vikings haven't completed a pass this game. They've done all of their damage on the ground. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. 2nd and 8. McKinley keeps it himself. Dives inside the 10-yard line for a gain of 3. Should bring up a 3rd and a long 5. As we are now at the 2-minute mark. And this has been a balanced rushing attack for the Vikings tonight. A little bit of everybody getting to eat. 3rd and 5. Pitch to Reinhold, another sophomore. Reinhold cuts it upfield, and he'll find pay dirt from 8 yards out. Touchdown, Cadillac. 2nd rushing touchdown of the season for the sophomore, Chris Reinhold. 8-yard score, and the Vikings, for the first time this season, have scored 50 points in a game. An impressive performance to finish the regular season for the Cadillac Vikings. Colin Hess on to attempt the extra point. Kick is up. And Colin Hess, 7 for 7 for extra points tonight. And the Vikings, to give you an idea, their previous season high was 27 points in a game. If you want to take momentum into the postseason, the playoffs, this is how you do it. 1:38 remaining. Vikings on top, 51-14. And it looks like the Vikings, when they do begin postseason play, we don't know who exactly they'll be playing yet, but it will be here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. And that's exactly why the Vikings head coach, Cody Mallory, wanted to make sure that they kept their pedal to the metal. They weren't playing any games. They weren't going to get cute. And they were going to say this is a full go. And boy, go did they. Offense has been off and running, and you look on the other side, you gotta commend the Gaylord Blue Devils, who came out and were playing and making plays out there, turning the football over against the Vikings, generating turnovers. They took the lead early on, but they just ran into a team that ran the football at will and defensively put the clamp down. Gavin Freeman takes it at the 25-yard line. And Freeman, 10-yard return before he's cut down by Ben Meyer. First tackle of the night for the junior offensive and defensive lineman, but good job in kick coverage from Mr. Meyer. Running clock, final 70 seconds. We're approaching the 1 minute mark. Adam Dost, new tailback in. Riley Hush right next to him in the shotgun. 1st and 10 at the 35. Dost, quarterback sweep. Dost bounces it outside. Gang tackled right at the 41-yard line. That is going to be Tegan Baker, another sophomore, on the stop. And this very well could be the final play here on senior night at Veterans Memorial Stadium as we're at the 30-second remaining mark. 2nd and 4 from the 41. Doss working out of the shotgun. We'll see if they go to the air. Dost, Gibbs to Riley Hush. And to bring this contest to an end, it'll be Keenan Marr on the stop. And that'll do it as the final game of the 2020 regular season will end with a win for the Cadillac Vikings as they'll finish the season 4-2 record and will be moving on to the postseason as the Vikings top the Gaylord Blue Devils and have defeated them for the 2nd time this season with a final score of 51-14. Stay tuned as we see the show of sportsmanship at midfield. We'll have a post-game show here on Newsnet Sports for the Michigan High School Football Game of the Week.
Doug Glass is ready to make the bathroom of your dreams a reality. Doug Glass is a full-service provider of quality custom shower doors. We offer a wide selection of models, finishes, and glass options. From cast to pattern glass, we can custom build a shower door perfect for your bathroom. Stop in and see the heavy glass displays in our showroom. And remember, Doug Glass also offers puller seal windows and patio doors. We're also your local source for auto glass, from windshields to side and rear windows. Whatever are your needs, call or visit Doug Glass today for a free estimate.
Our mission at the Wexford Misaki Career Technical Center is to prepare you for career success. During your junior and senior year, you can explore and train for career options in one of 15 hands-on programs. While you're exploring and training, you can take advantage of free college credits, scholarships, co-op on-the-job training, industry certifications, and career counseling. All of this while you're in high school. Enrollment is easy and free. Are you ready to explore and train for your career at the Wexford Misaki Career Tech Center?
High school sports are brought to you in part by Wolverine Power Cooperative and by Great Lakes Energy. Your local electric cooperative is looking out for you.
Post-game show here at Veterans Memorial Stadium as the Cadillac Vikings finish the 2020 regular season in the win column as they bested the Gaylord Blue Devils 51-14. I'm Derek Tate as you're here on Newsnet Sports. Post-game show, Michigan High School Football Game of the Week. And this rematch in the Big North Conference started off with the Gaylord Blue Devils not only turning over the Cadillac Vikings offense on 2 consecutive possessions to start the game, but then they actually went on a 45-yard touchdown drive capped off by a 1-yard touchdown run from Quinn Schultz to take a 7-0 lead. But after that point, the Cadillac Vikings would score 28 unanswered points in the first half, First from Noah Cochran with a 20-yard touchdown run. Then on the very first play of the first quarter, it was Carter Harsh with a 40-yard touchdown run. Then what a night from Aiden Gurdon. 76-yard touchdown run, and then an 8-yard touchdown run in the closing moments of the first half. They went into the halftime break with a 28-7 lead, and we didn't see Corey Deere, the athletic senior dual-threat quarterback for the Gaylord Blue Devils, and maybe it just we didn't get any word on exactly why he was put on the bench, but regardless, it was Adam Dost who came in and saw the first 2 snaps to start the second half for the Gaylord offense sail over his head. The first one, a 17-yard loss. The second one wound up being a safety, which then gave the offense for Cadillac possession at the 45-yard line, and they punched it in with a Caleb McKinley score. He also had 2 rushing touchdowns on the evening. Chris Reinhold also added 1. And then we can't forget Gavin Freeman actually scored on, I think it was a 37-yard touchdown reception to make your final score 51-14. But when you look at the momentum that the Cadillac Vikings have taken now into the postseason, they're going to have a game here at Veterans Memorial Stadium after their first round bye in the Michigan High School Football State Playoffs. So Cody Mallory, the head coach of the Cadillac Vikings, did mention how every Friday is a special night, a priceless opportunity given all of the circumstances with the coronavirus and its impact on the 2020 Michigan high school football season. They never take it for granted, and yet we saw on a senior night them put up their best performance of the entire season, and they ride high going into the postseason. Fantastic performance from both sides. Tough, rainy, windy conditions here at Veterans Memorial Stadium, but both sides played hard and finished the 2020 football season on a high note. And speaking of finishing the 2020 football season on a high note, that'll be the final Michigan high school football game of the week here on Newsnet Sports. I cannot thank you enough for tuning in and giving me the opportunity and the honor to be able to call your Michigan high school football games. I am absolutely blessed and honored and grateful for not only you as your viewership, but also our crew here. Wyatt Van Dynen did a great job as a director, as always, for all of these games this season. And the CTC crew, that we get a student that comes in and does a fantastic job. All 3 games this season, they have manned 2 cameras at the same time, simultaneously. That is no easy task. And Miley was the one that did it tonight in tough, rainy, wet, cold conditions. I cannot thank the crew enough. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much for what has been a great 2020 Michigan high school football season, in which I'm just glad that we had any football at all. These kids, these coaches, these student bodies, it's been something special. And I'm glad that these student athletes got the opportunity to do what they love on Friday evenings. Speaking of which, thank you so much. This is Derek Tate signing off here on Newsnet Sports.